doesn't know about the ski patrol. She doesn't know about Minnow Dole. She doesn't know about the ski patrol. She doesn't know about the ski patrol. Oh, Minnow Dole and ski patrol. Minnow Dole and ski patrol.
All right, everybody. So we are going to get started. So I'll get you all to find a seat. We'll get rolling here tonight. So before we get started, guys, I just want to start with a bit of territory acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that we live and work on unceded Sinai's Tmoolau. So that's Sinai's homeland and their traditional language. And because we're talking about Red Mountain here tonight, takeaway I'd like you guys all to bring home with you, spread around, be a part of Sinai's Resurgence, is the name for Red Mountain in the Sinai's dialect. So that's Camarcan. So if you can remember Camarcan, share that around. You'll be doing us nice and me a favor, and I'll appreciate it for forever. And just before we get into the big things for the night, I'll tell you we have as part of Rekindle, Rossland Rekindle. This Saturday we'll have a bunch of crafts, kids activities. We run that from 12 to 4, so if you have a family, you just want to come hang out, lots of treats, lots of snacks, and a whole lot of fun, so come visit us for that. And of course the next speaker series, that will be on the 21st of December, and that will be the state of the snowpack. So you get a chance to not only figure out what's happening with the snowpack here in the Rossland Range, but also kind of a bit of introduction also to the organization and stuff as well. And now that I've got that out of the way, tonight, of course, you guys are all here to see Gord, to hear about also the history of the ski patrol on Red Mountain. And I believe everyone here probably has a pretty good idea about who Gord is. But I'm going to let the legend come up here and give you a little bit of a taste of who he is, all on his own. So if you guys do me a big favor, big round of applause for Gord. Let's welcome up.
An alcoholic?
Great meeting.
I'm looking at the crowd. Anyway, I'm not the legend. There's the legend right there. Read it. 6'3". I contacted a whole pile of ski hills around Canada, northern states and that, and nobody served as long. I found an older guy, but he didn't have your time. So anyway.
And nor the legs.
You got her. So let's get rolling. Did you guys even hear the song, really?
Yeah.
It's a ski patrol song done by Bob Kitson in 1958. A little bit corny. But it mentioned the name Charles Minnow Dole, Minnie Dole, who was the actual creator of ski patrol. Careful. Back in 1918, they started with organized ski areas back in the eastern states, but they were no more than rope tows. So I'm going to go back a little further than our ski patrol here. And up until 1938, that's what they were. They were self-contained. First day it was kind of an afterthought for most of them. So injuries were more serious because of the equipment back then, and there was no real formal training across the nation until this Charles Dole organized the National Ski Patrol in 1938. And coincidentally, Sun Valley had the first ski lift in the world in 1938. So that says a lot right there. So they kind of timed the two of them together. National Ski Patrol was world renowned for ability for their practices and how to handle injured people and what to do the whole time there. He actually was the U.S. National Patrol Director until 1950. The rope tows were usually about 400 feet or less. The one at Sun Valley, I couldn't find the length of it, but it just took off. So we had one in Quebec, Mount Tremblant, that showed up in 1938. We were next in Canada in 1947. It was originally called the Record Ridge or Gold Range Ski Patrol, and was still somewhat disorganized. Reno should be able to tell us, would tell us about, because he was very significant in the development of what we do up at Red Mountain. But we had our own rope tow. It was located right across from where the Block Motel is across the highway. And up until a few years ago, you could actually see the level of the trees were a little lower where that clearing was. And now you can't really tell. I went down and looked, and there's not really, you can't tell. Oops, excuse me. So, committees were formed and first aid cabins were built all around the area. You all guys know the Blister Club, the Rossland cabin, and all of these. And they were there to help assist skiers as well as overnight cabins for touring. The patrol was announced at the 1950 Red Mountain Ski Club annual meeting. It was first associated with the National Ski Patrol from the U.S. and it was all volunteers until 1976 when the first pros were hired. The ski patrol manual, Bart Dudley's name was on the picture here. It is sitting over there. And I'd like you guys to have a look at this stuff after we're done here, because Reno has donated this photo album, and it's just full of all kinds of stuff. Some of it you can even look at and not worry. Reno. Prior to 1954, records were not well kept. There's not much to draw on from there. Anybody, I think we're probably a bit too young for back then. Even after then, the record's still somewhat sketchy. 54, the Red Patrol became associated with the CSBS, the Canadian Ski Patrol System, and the blue and gold border maple leaf. There's one sitting up here too. That's the gold cross on the blue. Was worn as a shoulder patch. The qualifications were 18 plus years old, the St. John's Ambulance Association First Aid Certificate, and a proven ability to ski. Patrol leaders were elected by patrolmen in the area. Was that like when you started? You started what, 1955?
Yeah,
1955. So he was there at the beginning pretty much. Some of the names from there, you guys will know these. Sam Martin, Jim Malatini, I believe that's Peter's dad, who was a patroller that passed away in an avalanche. Jimmy Douglas, Basil McDonald, Reg Parker, who was a very good friend of my parents, so I got to know him. Bert Malmerick, Paul Jones, Jimmy Hay, Rick Beezerow, Dave Klins, Louis Forte was a good buddy of my dad. Stan Fisher was a friend of my parents. Bob Bears lived across the road from us. Bart Dudley. Gordon Hood, I don't remember him. Gil Page, well, he was an instructor when I started patrolling. He was 80-some then. I still remember him at a turkey roast. Somebody gave him a dessert, a brownie. And Gil.
Like a fun brownie?
That was a fun brownie.
Yeah.
I like some more of those. Those are really good. No,
No.
Gil, no. No, my God. Jeez, you should have seen him. He was relaxed.
Is that another skill Ski Patrol has?
Wasn't just ski patrol, it was just part of the turkey roast crowd. Bill Gregorak, which lived 2 houses over from us, his daughter was my bestest friend ever until I was about 3. Ralph Alexander, Bill Bradshaw. Communication was done with whistles, with a number of whistle blasts, and am I right here? A number of whistle blasts to tell everybody what you needed to communicate, and it was a series up and down the mountain. Okay? That's how it worked? Okay, good. As far as I can find out, two-way radio communication was first established in the 71-72 season, and Roy Schultz had something to do with that as well. It's also the first year the air splints were used, and they were around for quite a while. We still use some of those air splints that are in use up there. 73, the Red Mountain Ski Patrol made an agreement with Kootenai Mountaineering Club to establish backcountry rescue standards requiring more standardized training across the board, which we still get today. The first discussions with the Pro Patrol. And if you guys got any questions, fire away, because this isn't going to take long. I need help.
We're saving it for the end.
Okay.
You're awesome.
First discussion about Pro Patrol, according to the records, were held in September of '67, and it didn't happen till '76. I don't know what took so long, but John Tweedy and Bob Sawyer were the first two. Is that correct? Yeah, I thought so.
I heard Tweety lived in a teepee on the side of Granite Mountain.
Yeah, I heard that too. I can't confirm it.
Where the boneyard is.
Yeah.
And also that they got paid once they put the Grand Lift up.
Yeah.
And then it opened the avalanche stream. And that's
Well,
what they needed.
that was '65, so.
But they took them a couple years to realize that they needed
Yeah,
to
we
pay.
need to pay people to do this. It's Rossland, Alley.
I'm saying. I'm just gonna.
Where's the bell? I can name a bunch of guys who came later, like Simon Walker, Terry Miller, Craig Rudd. First. Bruce Ferguson, T. Finland, Ranger Regador, Jim Spence, and all kinds of guys that we all remember. First aid course I took was the industrial first aid, which Bob Flagle taught. It changed to occupational first aid. And the outdoor emergency care when Dan Roshi became Pro Patrol director. He made some changes, got us that first aid course, which to me was a better course, more designed for what we were doing. Then we met Jeffy Burko.
And there we go.
And there we go.
Take emergency response.
Yeah, and he's still there. He found me when I was walking across the deck outside last weekend, and crap, I didn't even know he was there. I let it run.
I don't think he knew. It's on the road.
Anyway, yeah. So my own involvement started in 1985. Late starter. After
How young were you, Gord?
35.
Kid, and you were average age of
Yeah. Actually, no. 85, I was 33.
Yeah, good questions, Mark.
Yeah. Made me think, don't do that.
Easy questions then.
But after conversations I had with Andy Camp, Bill Thompson, a few other friends that were on the patrol, like Rob Murray, and another legend in his own mind.
So were you at the Clister before
Yes,
you were already at Clister
I was
Club?
already at the
Nice
patrol.
to meet you, Ski Patrol.
Yeah, that's,
First thing, no one's back there.
yeah, that's, I looked at that and went, geez, we gotta have a party. Hence the ski patrol soiree,
Yes,
which was unfortunately stopped.
it was not fun.
No fun at all. Sauna was going full time. Anyways, Andy looked at me and says, well, I know you can ski. Oh, good. I said, see if you can catch me. Went down what's now Reno's Trees, the cabin flats, and waited for him down at the Electric Club, and he said, okay, you're hired.
Hired, without pay.
Okay. That was way before it was thinned out and Molly's road was cut. He didn't, like I said, told me to go get my first aid ticket and I was hired. Stupid man.
Now we got one more of those in me. See it happen again.
Send Rena away for the next one.
Yeah.
I became the director in 1992, and it was, here you go.
7 years in.
Yeah. I hired the first snowboard patrollers in Western Canada, which got a few jobless.
Who was it?
It was, I knew that was going to come up, and I can't remember their name.
Mikey J. Mikey Johns.
Mikey Johns, yeah.
Is that J. LeBlanc?
No.
Who's before that?
But anyway, these two guys, they did all right, and the next year, half the Pro Patrol was on snowboard.
But not,
Hey, Gord, who did
we
you
were
take
allowed
over?
to do it for work.
Who did you take over for as director?
Kiwi. Davies.
Right.
He was there the 1 year, and he's come to wanna see this, he's been in touch with me. So I gotta send him a copy of all of this. So be nice. No worries, Kiwi.
This is being filmed.
Where is he now?
Did you warn us? This is being filmed.
Oh, by the way, we're being filmed.
Where is Kiwi?
He's up north in Canal. Been through a bit of a tough time with his family. One of his sons died. And mother-in-law or father-in-law, one of the two, and him and Judy are dealing with that still. But he took the time to get a hold of me and say, I heard, so, what can I say?
Cheers, Keith.
Yeah, cheers, Kiwi, and I'll send them all your love. 2004, I finalized an agreement with Red, with Laird Carmichael's support. That gave us a 20-year benefit, and after 20 years as a volunteer patroller, non-stop, you got a free lifetime pass for you and your spouse.
What year was that?
2004. Took me 3 years to do that. I didn't really want it, but whatever. Laird went in there and did the Yosemite Sam on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Laird, I tell you, every once in a while I get the chance to ride a lift with him. Do you mind if I smoke? No, go ahead. Mind if I have a drink? I see nothing. That was Laird.
Larry just passed away.
Yeah, I heard that. Anyway, this lifetime pass was downgraded. I get a phone call. I'm sitting at my desk doing something, whatever it was, doesn't matter. The phone rings. And Eric Colassus says, what are you doing with this 20-year pass? I said, well, I don't know, it's kind of established, we're going to be doing. He says, we're not doing that anymore. I said, don't move. You're in your office, right? And he says, yeah. I said, don't move. I'll be there in a couple of minutes. So I printed out a roster, and I quickly typed up a resignation, and went over to his office and said, here you go. You see those 40 patrollers on that roster? They're gone. Not tomorrow, right now, and I'm going with them.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Gord.
So you get him doing negotiations.
Yeah, can you do our
The next weekend, Don Thompson was kind of coming in, bigger all the time. And then he calls me over and he says, we got to talk about this. Well, the Thursday before, and Mom will remember this quite well, ended up with a concussion in the first aid room. And, I was skiing down the mountain. Next thing I know, I'm in the first aid room with an oxygen mask in my hand. Going, what the hell?
You know who I am?
I remember saying that. What the hell? And Nobber's in the background. He just starts laughing. There he is. There he is right over there, Nobber. My savior. Thanks, buddy. First question was, how many times did I reset? He says, I don't know, 15. Oh, holy cow. That's a lot. Yeah. So, Bruce Ferguson dragged me down to the hospital. Bruce Ferguson dragged me down to the hospital so I could get my head examined. Again.
They find a brain in it?
They never told me. I think they quit looking. Anyway, so I finally told Don a couple of years ago about that meeting. I said, you remember that meeting? He says, oh yeah. He said, I had no clue what I was doing. I couldn't even read. He says, and you just let me talk. I said, yeah, I had no choice. So I talked myself right into this new agreement. I said, yeah, you did. And I'm gonna hope you agree here tonight. Anyway, we came up with the new agreement, which anybody with 10 years or more would get the lifetime pass.
Oh, nice.
The last guy to get that,
It's 20 years.
it was 20 years, but
Oh, it was 10, then went to 20.
it started out at 20. Don offered for 5 years, and I said no. That's one thing I could say. We settled on 10 years, and those with 10 years or more, the seniority would follow them up, and that would be the end of that
Like the,
thing, right? They give them 5 years now, I
like
believe.
your grandfather.
Yeah, I grandfathered those 10. The last one was Don Park, who's still patrolling.
Yeah.
I just printed,
Delta, also known
Abe.
as.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, last year, and he's,
Yeah, ain't falling off. You'd be the last one, wouldn't you?
you remember I was asking if you still had a template?
Yeah, that's right, too. Okay, so they've fallen off. He's not patrolling, he's gone.
It's gone, this is gonna be.
He's
He
gotta
hasn't
be-
said he's not coming back.
Yeah, he hasn't said he's not coming back. Louis took over for me, so it's all his problem now. A few of the ski patrol themed items in the collection here, if you look around in here, and especially on this table. Reunion ad. I don't know if that's there or not, but there's remember the big reunion we had there, I think it was 90-something? There's the roster right there. All from 54 up until we had that reunion. So there's a lot of names on there, a lot of people we know. Reno's photo album, which he has kindly donated to the museum here, and they're going to look. You can look through that. Don't touch the other stuff. There's signs there. But flip through the photo album. There's some pretty good stuff in there, I'll tell you. Red Mountain Ski Patrol patch, log books, Art Dudley's patrol. First aid manual, a bunch of pictures there. What I did, pretty much carried on from what Jeff left me. Came up with that soiree party. Gave us a better place to keep our stuff. Actually, I got mad. We got this crappy little room up above where the pros changed, and it was unheated, and Potsy ended up with his office up there, and I finally said, okay guys, that's enough. There's 42 patrollers plus me, and I've got a computer and I've got all kinds of crap that I gotta look after, and they gave us the old arch frame above the shop, the ski shop.
That place was awesome.
That place was pretty good. Well, that came down, and they gave us a trailer, which was pretty good too. So,
All to yourself.
I had my own office all to myself. No sleeping at all, never.
No, nothing to talk about here.
I'm busy here. Anyway, that's about it for my recollections. I'd sure like to hear more from you guys.
Is Bruce Ferguson here?
No, I was hoping he would be.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause I have a question about Bruce. I heard he got lost in Esley Creek one time. Do you recall?
I don't recall that. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I have another one. I heard he got busted in the hot tub one time.
No, that happened. I heard.
Bernie was there.
No. Yes, Bernie was the one that caught. Bernie did not catch it.
Okay.
No, it's Sparky.
Hello, Sparky.
Who caught him, Sparky?
Everything I heard was all hearsay, so.
Cliff caught him.
Because the maintenance shop needs to be down a level,
Yeah.
right well, the maintenance is up, well, I guess where it is. And then down a level, we would walk right to the hot tubs at the red shutter, which proved troublesome.
And if you left the radio on.
Oh, Broner was here, you could tell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They used to invite.
Croner still complains about that.
I never got these invites. Really.
Yeah, well, you're married.
Married and a director, so.
Gord, the overnighter in the Esley Creek you guys spent.
Oh,
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah, we went looking for Bob Hook with search and rescue. There's myself, T. Finland, and what was his name, the Wolfman. Anyway. Peter Carter, yeah, that's the guy. Me, T, Peter Carter, went overnight down into Esley Creek as part of search and rescue and a patrol. Found these guys. Bob Hook had taken 5 kids, figuring they were going to go ski great. So they went up instead of going through the notch, they went up onto the head wall, turned left,
I've never had that.
and turned right.
Yeah, nobody.
So, yeah, nobody ever did that before.
On the clock, but never.
Not on the.
The street, no, I hear
Anyway, 2 o'clock in the morning, we caught up to him. Bob was a mess. He was gonna be hypothermic. He was sweating so hard. The kids were fine. He had these 5, 13, 14-year-olds with him. We had them bedded down and everything. The only thing he did right there was get him up out of the creek bed, because that's where the downflow goes for the water, right? It gets colder. So we fed them, bedded them down, got Bob around the fire so he could dry it off some. And next morning, the helicopter flies overhead. Ernie's in there and says, "Can you hear me?" I says, "Yeah, we're here." And sent the snowmobiles to get us, because they were down at Stevenson's cabin down in Sheep Creek. So they came to get us, and the first thing, when we got there, I said, "Bob, here."
Sure.
That reminds me of the early days of the, before the search and rescue was formalized.
Yeah.
And it just used to be call out ski patrollers whenever.
Yeah.
And we had a search one year, and then missed a year, and then the next year for the same guy. That's what I thought, do I really want to be doing this? I don't know if anybody from Castlegar, but Herman Kemperman, and he was older than most of us here now, when he was doing this. Going up and getting lost in Esling Creek.
Reno went all the way to Big Sheep, I think with Dundee once.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right
All the
too.
way out, I couldn't believe it, all night long.
Yeah, I know.
Chasing some guy, they couldn't catch him.
Hey, I missed
But Herman,
because of that
the second Herman hunt, he was sneaking back into the ski area. I was tracking him back to the ski area. He was trying to get down to Paradise Lip and go home before anybody saw him.
Then there's the typical searches down the Green Run, the Green Trail. People who miss it.
Yeah.
Those are not fun, are
Ever
they?
since we put
Oh,
the
they're awesome. I
road
love
line
that.
up, the road line has really stopped.
That's all over now.
Yeah.
So tell us
Green
three of the most interesting episodes that you had to deal with.
No injuries?
Not injuries, just three really interesting episodes.
Three?
That you had to deal with.
Did you ask for 3?
Yeah.
Hey, go.
You and me, Ally.
Every time me and him ski together, it seemed to happen. He was like this, every little while, and we were like, God damn.
There'd be massive trauma, and it's me and Ally. We finally made the decision, we're gonna go on different mountains.
Because we thought we were cool.
Yeah, we figured we would, well,
No ego.
no ego at all. But we get, I'm on red, she's over on granite, and we're both on the radio at the same time with the exact same call. So we can't get away from this. That went on for quite a few years. And then there's, I was called an accident magnet for how many years?
I just.
Well, doesn't that
Well,
doesn't the accident magnet thing kind of
standing there
relate
talking to
your
my brother on Southside Road, and Silver Sheep, this woman goes, bam, oh, she's out cold, isn't she? Yeah, she's out cold, I'll be back. So I went down there, and, yeah, that's just one. Skiing down Reno's Run now, stopped, and there's this snowboarder that came and tagged a tree beside me, bam, full on spinal. You know, things like that. I was standing in the first aid room, that woman that got hauled in there, she's dead. She's dark gray, she's unresponsive.
Oh, that's right, we're not supposed to say that word in this group, right?
No.
Y'all sounded shocked.
She's unresponsive.
Very low LOR.
Very low LOR, that's 0. Scared the crap out of me, so I've got the AED. We're going full bore on this girl, and all of a sudden she starts talking to me. Pardon? Okay, what's going on here? Everybody dead, hands off her. She's apparently, and she had a condition. And Jeff gave me help because I put the AED on, and she was alive. Well, she wasn't when I did it. But, and I said, I told him, look, she's got some kind of symptoms, some kind of system breakdown, something's going on. So he did a little digging into it, and he found out, and he finally got back to me and said, yeah, she's got this thing where her body shuts off and then turns back on again. I said, well, that's not gonna be good for her. Sooner or later, it's not gonna turn on again. But here we are, and we've got this girl, and I started thinking, I dealt with her one time before. She had collapsed up in the lodge. And her name kind of rang a bell, so I started going back through the records, and she had done the same thing to me before, only I had more help that time. The ambulance was right there for somebody else, so they just came and took her away. Thank you, bye-bye. Nobody dies here, right? What?
That's right.
Yeah, she's the one that scared me the most of all the injuries and incidences and things that went on up there. That one scared me the worst.
The wake up.
It was definitely a big customer. I said, pardon? Yeah.
I was wondering how the soiree started.
The soiree,
The
for all of you
soiree
that don't
we used to
know,
have?
was a party at the Clister Club that Gord was a member of. And Gord extended his hospitality as a member of the Clister Club to allow the patrol to come there and have a party, and it didn't last very long because we fucked it up. But but how did it happen?
Who doesn't like a good party?
Exactly.
Remember the sauna?
Yes. Yeah, well, I thought, you know, we've got this cabin, and I talked to the guy, said, you mind if I hold this party here? Yeah, go for it. I figured there'd be 20, 30 people there. Oh my God. That thing grew into a monster.
Many people's in this room, perhaps?
I think all of
But that,
them. 90%?
Yeah.
people were coming from all over the place to go to this party. So there was like 200 people. How am I supposed to do with this? Then I had to do the cleanup the next day, so I finally said, okay, you guys, you want to have a party? You're doing the cleanup. Oh no. So they took over and they moved it over to the stagger net.
That was a good party too.
It was so. Well, we had a sauna and then.
The floor, think about the Clister Club held the water
Yeah.
in the floor from all the snow that came off everybody's boots. That's what amazed me, when you get 200 people or 150 people in that space, and you do this, really push it through this water, and that's because it's.
And then
The water was half beer.
Well, and so we weren't drinking it, we were in dirtbag, we were close to.
What year do you think they made us stop smoking in the apron?
Good questions, Marty. Did they ever make us?
Like Larry Ford was still there.
Larry
When I
Ford,
started.
oh.
Oh, Tim Thatcher went all the way.
And,
Larry Ford, eh? Lovely.
Larry and T was, well, he left. But it seems to me I started in, like the rest of the world now, was like, come into the haze of smoke and into your work
space.
Work area. But I feel like it ended.
94?
Somewhere in there, yeah. Wasn't long after we became a director.
Larry Ford taught me. Okay, Allison, we're gonna. Anyway. And it's okay, so we're gonna go, we're working red shark today, okay. And here's the skinny. He didn't say skinny, but he's like, okay, there's an accident up there on the T-bar. And we're coming out from the loft. He's like, I said, we can walk up there to that accident at the T-bar. And he goes, we're the ski patrol. We're not the walk up. Very Ford. And I was like, oh, right? And you guys in the back, note. And no, that was cool.
Can I try to?
No.
I met Ally, it was my first year as the director, she was hitchhiking. We're going up to our first meeting of the year. So I stopped and picked her up, she was a girl, right?
He was married.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Just being nice, picking up on her. Anyway, she gets in the truck, we drive to the ski hill, she doesn't say a freaking word. Very quiet in the mirror, and sitting in her
Quiet.
Everybody here, don't piss.
Quiet.
Come here.
I heard it. I want you to laugh.
This is what.
You opened yourself up in this way.
I know.
Fireworks,
We've had this
fireworks.
conversation before, look.
Yeah, she made me promise not to tell that story, but I couldn't.
I never did.
You tried.
I tried you.
So anybody else got questions?
Was there overtime booked for the creek jumps?
What type of
We
volunteer?
were all patrollers, so we didn't worry about it.
So Gord, Ranger Ray told me a story, and I'm pretty sure he said it was you, that you were trying to wrestle you're trying to wrestle some drunk guy into a toboggan because he was a hazard at the top of the mountain, and he was fighting back, and you kind of looked left and right, nobody's looking, and you clocked him and knocked him out.
This guy called somebody?
So you could get him down the mountain. And I want to know if that's
Are
real.
we filming this?
You're retired. You have no life.
This is my first call.
Oh, you said that you get on camera.
What's that?
This is my first call, he said control the patient. He had lost his skis, his balls, jacket was undone, he's all covered with snow and everything, he's belligerent as hell. What can you do?
You probably saved you saved everybody on the
What you
mountain.
gotta do, right? Name of the game. Okay, any other comments, questions? That was kept pretty quiet. You didn't hear that, Don.
Still want to talk about it.
Pick up this guy for an extra.
I don't do things like that. But he's had control of patients. Yeah.
What do you think of the state of the volunteer program and how it might develop into the future?
That's a tough question.
Good
That'd be more
question.
a question for Louis to answer, but from what I can see, what Louis is doing, that he took over from me, he's doing an excellent job.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
A lot of fun, Gord left me with a lot of good tools there, and,
Thanks, buddy.
a good crew. The seniors that were left with me when I took over, the program had been going, we started off at 40, we had 42 patrollers for the longest time, went down to 28. COVID was a disaster for anybody volunteering, I think, anywhere. And it went down to, I had 8 applications last year,
That's nuts.
which is horrible. And then all of a sudden this year I had 80 applications.
Nice.
So things are up again, and all these seniors that you set me up with, Todd Parks, he's 26 years this year.
Yeah.
He's got his lifetime pass, but he still chooses to keep patrolling, just like Reno did for years, right?
He'd still be patrolling if he could.
If he could. We
Walk
have
around this room, I see a lot of potential.
But you have to get like a few
Good teamwork, Louis.
It's amazing, and Gord helped me out a lot with the transition as well and stuff. And I had an office for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Gord, you did a great job out there, and you
Appreciate that.
You created a family of people who are part of the skiing culture, the community and stuff like that. And it's not about people who want to have a free pass. We were always looking for people who want to be part of the community, right? And it really paid off.
One of the
That's
ski
where
crews.
Reno started doing it.
For free pass?
That's right.
Is that the skinny Reno? Free pass?
Yeah, when you started, you did it,
Was it hold
lift
back
tickets
to
for.
45 bucks?
One of the things I did is I treated that whole crew like they were my kids.
Well, they were.
And they responded in kind, right?
So sort of creepy uncle.
Gord, when we first started skiing with the family ticket was $100 for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'd sneak in,
my first season pass was $15. That was a junior money.
That included membership.
That included membership, you were there too. My brother was there.
How many of you guys remember skiing Fruitville?
I did.
Because when we started that season pass making night, they were all done on 3 pieces of Lamacoid sample, and you sat there with one of those Dymo labels, and you did the whole family for 35 bucks.
Yeah,
The next day, everybody had a right-hand cramp.
I actually skied there.
Yeah.
The Fruitville ski.
Yeah.
Jim Hay used to coach us.
Is that like up towards Champion or?
No, you go through town, you go up across the Selma River and up that hill, and go way back in the mountains back there.
If you're going south, if you're going above the Surge Lagoon, it sort of looks out, and there's a mountain with a bit of new road that's been cut out, and it's got 1 or 2 towers up on it. It's above Webster Road. But yeah, it used to be originally up by Al LaRocque's property. There was a water tower and a farmer's field with a rope tow, and the snow melted because it was south, or the south facing. So they moved it there, and we had a rope tow to start, and then they closed in '74 with a handle tow and a T-bar, which I think the T-bar eventually went to Fernie when it was starting. But Jim Haight used to coach us during the week, so we didn't have to drive all the way to Rossland in a big truck with the 2-lane roads. And then on the weekend, we were free range, and we were second in the division the first year out in the Nancy Green. So must have done good. His daughter went on to Sarajevo Olympics. So.
yeah, the only Canadian never win the Euro Cup.
Just had an article.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, I have a question for
Yes.
Louis. So where do you see the patrol shift or change or stay the same? What's your vision?
You know, I'm just super excited that I've got more numbers this year and I was able to like choose the most stoked kind of people and the most qualified, you know, like just that finding that balance and stuff. And you know, like one of the things that was kind of cool this year is like out of those 80 applications, like it was like I had 40 guys and 40 girls apply, and you know, so I hired five new guys, and it was easy to do that because everybody's, you know what, it's about qualifications and seeing whether you're going to fit with the team. We don't want to have to stick in the mud or anything like that, right? I don't know. I see it. I just want to see it continue to be. The thing with the pros and the volleys are very tight, and that's the thing I want to see continue most.
That was probably one of the hardest things I had to address. Because when I started, there was quite a division between the pros and the volleys, wasn't there, Reno?
Yeah. When we were all group leaders, it was,
Yeah.
we had our thing and the
Yeah.
pros had their thing.
I started bringing that all together, and it took 2 or 3 years before they could get any results from that. But I started doing the training myself, and you know, a lot of the hands-on stuff, and making sure that everybody was doing the same thing. And it seems to have worked over the years, because some of the the volunteers, of course, the good ones will go into the pro circuit, but the rest of them that stay have already got jobs, they can't go pro, but they want to be volunteers, and I gotta tell you, that was really something to see them.
But the pro group in those years was still pretty small.
Yeah, it was. It's getting a lot bigger now.
It was 13 when I started.
Yeah.
I think when Gord and Reno and Molly Pez and I were group leaders, there was 8 or 12.
Yeah.
That was it. I think it was 8 when you, about the time when you started.
Yeah, 8 rows a day. That's the minimum.
I started.
It's a good thing, right?
And on the weekends, there was, you started having one pro.
Yeah.
But originally, there was no pros on the weekends.
Well, just to show how much that's changed, a great example is this season, we have 10 new rookie pro patrollers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever been accomplished, or 10 new hires in 1 year. That might be a new record.
I hired 22 one year.
On the road show?
Yeah, that was a great year.
A lot of fun there.
I was gonna say. I know.
I'll just say that.
Who's that?
Tammy!
Could be Tammy.
No, that's Charlotte.
That's Charlotte?
That's Tammy.
That's Tammy, the professional volley. There she is. Good pictures though, you guys in action.
I think there's that pro volley distinction for sure. They're kind of different jobs. I came from the Rockies and Lake Louise, and there was CSPS guys, and there was pro patrollers, and I worked at SEAL, so then they were very, very separate. When I came here as a volunteer patroller, I was like, oh, pretty decent to me compared to. Like we're just not, but it was always an in-house one thing in my time, and beyond all that, I think anyone who's worn that cross and worked on Red Mountain is, we all know we're one of us. There's a society now called the Red Mountain Ski Patrol Society, which is a new thing, which is amazing. It doesn't have it's not a union thing, it's not a Red Mountain thing, it's owned by a bunch of ski patrollers. And we're looking at I don't know, we talk about it with teams and stuff. We're looking at a continuum here of, we were just training with guys that are in the early 20s.
And you were a significant part of that too.
And that continuum from Reno on through all these people who've come and gone, and I think that's an amazing thing to celebrate every time we get together.
Absolutely.
Every time we go to work, when I ski down the mountain, sometimes like,
I went to visit up in Sun Peaks, and the pros and volleys don't even talk.
Wow, that's
They don't
sad.
even-
That's a lot of ski hills that have CSPS.
Right.
They have this full different thing.
They're
And
completely
in
different.
BC, for example, like you said, Sun Peaks, Big White.
Yeah.
It's still that way.
I've been up to Big White, and they're starting.
Well, you see, Rossland, it's all about family.
Yeah.
This is our family to this hill.
Right.
I agree with that. I think a lot of that is that community. I mean, I hope all
We're special. I don't know if you guys heard this, but after the incident with Teak, I heard back from Canada Ski Areas Association that you guys had been nominated for an award from St. John First Aid. I don't know what happened there, but Canada Ski Areas Association has recognized all you guys and pros and volleys as, if not the top, one of the very top patrols in the province.
And we haven't heard it because, I'm saying thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this road to the book.
No. I'm sorry, guys. There might be some attitude here. No, Gord, that's fucking great to hear. And by the way, if you're sensitive to me swearing, hi. Hey, Richie, you're good with it, right? Reno, you're good with it? Yeah, no, that's. Yeah, right?
Bingo.
Who is tight? Fucking A. Fucking A, buddy. Right here, me and you, right now. Who's tight?
Stand up.
You guys know what that is? Anyway.
And I remember this guy over here, Richie,
Yeah, Richie.
running the the hell out of it.
So you guys, when we were doing our training the other day at the ski hill, some guys asked, what was the old palm? And because there was this old history picture that came up in our yearly training at the ski hill that showed this picture of red of like, it would have been 30 years ago or whatever. And it was like, and I'm like, that's the palm. And I was trying to like point it out, and to anybody that was there with me at that time, I was like, the Palma. I remember when I started volley patrol with you, and you. You. It was talked about the Palma, if you went to the red chart, Palma. It was like, and I never questioned it, what it was, where it was. And I never even looked at it, and I'm like, where was it, what was that? I was like, oh, is this thing, does it exist anymore? These people keep talking about it. Fuck. You know? And then there we are at the thing, and there it is showing on this picture, this historical picture, right? Don, you like that, right? Yeah.
We're not pointing at a vague line in the tree.
Anyway, but there we were at the bottom of freaking red the other day, and I'm like, you just see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So, and if anybody refers to, hey, you're in the old Palma, hit them! They're lucky to be alive, if they know that.
Hey.
I'm sorry, hey, stop. You've never said to me, Allie, pull the line, ever.
No, that's
I've
not
been
what
told
I'm
this
saying.
guy for
That's what I was
25
there.
years, he's never said, oh my God, I need to go somewhere in the line. He's never said that. Okay, somebody pulls that out, come on.
Well, I was there, so that's why I
Yeah.
referred to Richie was an operator down
Hey,
there.
Richie. Richie?
Marty McDermott and I used to.
You and Mark McDermott, you just did that.
Oh, yeah, that was our last. Well, we used to shorten some of the springs, we had to.
Yeah, you did.
On the springs and that thing. And if it wasn't too bad, we could just take a little bit off the bottom of the spring, so it just made it a little bit harder to go back.
Yeah. Well, I can remember him and McDermott, not as just little guy, right? And I swear to God, McDermott, not so much you, but McDermott would hammer that lift, that handle down, because it was a detachable thing, right? So the spring would just go. There's no tracks for like 12 feet. You'd still be on your feet.
Little kids who hang the big tree.
Well, you get to Tower 5 and you're hanging like a
The nice thing about that lift was the only lift where you really had control of it when the people left. So if you wanted to go boxing to somebody, you could be up there for a while.
Oh, you can get a good sitting up.
Okay, I think we're really running a little long here. Anybody got questions or comments?
How many of these do you see?
What's that?
Come on, it's a first date question. Go, you're good.
Thanks, everybody.
I tried to find.
You know what, let's do one more round of applause. Gord, that was wonderful, thank you very much for coming up. There it is, in the audience today, so one round of applause for Reno, it was really important. Feel free to have some more snacks, finish up some drinks, and have yourself a drink.
And if anybody wants to join ski patrol, talk to Louie.
Yell for the ski patrol. Yell for the ski patrol. Yell for the ski patrol.